Hi, I'm Tammy at Simply Set Free, and today we are organizing my pantry. So you may have seen my video, 5 steps to organize any space. Well, I'm using those 5 steps today to organize my pantry. And those 5 steps are actually an acronym, and it's DREAM, D-R-E-A-M. I'm going to focus a little bit more on the A today. The A is assign a home. So I'm going to give you some more tips and tricks that I think will help you as you work on your own pantry. But we're going to go through those 5 steps today, and I'm going to show you how I put this together. Okay, before we get into step 1, I want to caution you for just a minute because it's really tempting at this point to want to go out to the store and buy containers for a project like this. But doing so is kind of like putting the cart before the horse because we haven't determined yet how many containers we need and what size we need. So that happens a little bit later on, and step 2 especially is going to help you to be able to determine how many and what size. So hold off on that for just a bit. But step 1 is to set a direction. You want to have a good plan in place. And so part of that is kind of taking a step back and looking at your pantry the way it exists right now. And then go to your pantry and make a list of all of the things that are functioning well in your pantry and all of the things that are not functioning well in your pantry. But step 2 is to remove everything and sort into categories. Now, this may seem a little bit unnecessary, but I highly encourage you to do this step because unless you remove everything, you don't really give yourself a blank canvas. As you're removing things from your area, make sure you have a couple of tables, maybe folding tables or a floor space that you can set your items on. And as you're setting down your items, put them into categories. Put all the canned goods in one area, put all the pasta in another area, and you get the idea here. But one other suggestion I want to make at this point, and you'll find later that this will really come in handy, is empty out some of those baskets and those bins that you have in place in your pantry and make a pile of containers in one section of your space, because you're going to find later that you'll be able to go back to this pile of containers and be able to choose some containers that will work and function better in your pantry project, if that makes sense. Step 3 is pretty simple when it comes to organizing your pantry, and that is eliminate. You want to get rid of all of those things that have expired. Okay, step 4 is assign a home, and this is where we're going to spend a little bit more time. I'm going to give you some good tips and tricks in this area. This is a perfect time right now to assess what kind of containers that you need and how many you need for this project. So go ahead and get out that piece of paper that you used in step 1 to set your direction and jot down how many containers you think you might need for this project. Maybe draw out some ideas for the size or shape that you might need and how many that you might need. There are a lot of great options when it comes to containers, but you don't always have to spend a lot of money. For instance, there's probably a lot of containers in your home that you can repurpose or reuse in a different way. Think outside the box. Go back to that pile of containers that I had you make from step 2. Remember where you removed everything and you sorted into categories? And I said, remember to make a category of containers. Well, now you can go back and you can essentially shop from your own container store. Think about things outside the box here. Look at a container like this. This has nuts in it. You might throw these away, but these would make really cute containers if you simply painted the lids, removed the labels, and added these cute chalkboard labels. I get these at Amazon.com, but you can probably find them at Walmart or Michael's. I think I pay maybe $3 or $4 for a pack of 20. I use those all the time, and I use a chalk pen for those because they don't smear as easily as chalk does. I also tend to see these a lot in thrift stores. These are glass jars. I think these are really great. You can also paint the lids on here, maybe add a cute decorative knob on the top, and again use maybe a chalkboard label on the front. Those would make great containers for your pantry. This is something that I saw recently on Pinterest that I thought was so darn cute. So I simply got some shelf liner at Dollar Tree, and guys, I am loving Dollar Tree more and more these days. They really have some cute things, but isn't this cute? So I simply covered a Pringles container after my kids ate all the Pringles, and it's now a pasta container. Isn't that cute? So I just thought that was a really cute idea. But take that shelf liner and think about other things you might be able to make into containers. Like just simply a box like this. Cover it and you've got a great container for maybe chips or something like that. One of the best tips that I can give you, especially if you have a small space, is to utilize vertical space well. Look at all of your closets, especially your pantry, and is there a large gap at the top between the highest shelf and the ceiling? If there's a big gap there, I want to encourage you to think about adding another shelf. This is one of the things that we did when we first moved into the home. Is see that shelf at the top? We added that. That wasn't there when we moved in, and that really gave us a lot of extra storage space. We added those in the bedroom and the hall closets as well. Another idea to consider is to put your shelves closer together. Depending on what you're storing, it might be more efficient this way. If you don't want to take the time and add another shelf or adjust shelves, you can always go to Walmart and buy these simple dividers and just simply add them in very simply and cheaply to create another shelf within a shelf. Be strategic in how you place your items. I like to refer to this space as Class A, Class B, and Class C space. Class A is reserved for those things that you get on a daily basis. You want those in spaces that are easy to reach. For the things that you use maybe once a week or once every couple of weeks, you want to choose Class B space. And that is just a little bit lower or a little bit higher than in the middle where it's easy to reach. And Class C space are for the things that you use maybe for Christmas or the holidays on a rare occasion. Put those in areas that is more difficult to get to on a daily basis. So as you can see here, our pantry is on the smaller side. Now when we moved into the house a number of years ago, I knew I needed something to store canned goods. This pantry just wasn't cutting it. So I decided to make a secondary pantry in the hall closet next to our master bedroom. Well, this worked okay over the years, but recently I decided I wanted to make a change. I wanted an extended pantry that was closer to the kitchen and more functional. So I started thinking outside of the box once again. So here's what I came up with. I want to show you my dining room. My dining room is right here. And what I decided to do was look for a used entertainment center and convert it into a pantry. So that's exactly what I did. Well, I'm going to show you the pantry now and just how I put it all together. All right, here it is. Isn't it great? I love it. It's been working out so well, and I'm maintaining the organization really well, which is a big plus. So I wanted to point out just a couple of things that have been really, really helpful to me in this process. First of all was remembering to use vertical space well. And as you can see here, I'm using baskets at the top. I've got chips in the one and paper products in the other. I bought those baskets at Michael's if you're curious. The other thing that has working out wonderfully has been these shelves that I've used exclusively for canned goods. Again, I'm using the vertical space well. Remember, we talked about putting the shelves close together to make it really efficient. At first, when I was thinking about this new pantry, I had considered purchasing some of those soda can organizers where you lay them on the side and then you stack them behind. This would have made it so I was not able to fit as many canned goods across on the top shelf as I could have. So storing them vertically is a much, much better way, in my opinion, to store canned goods. Okay, I'm going to share with you where I purchased some of my containers here at the bottom. Okay, so these containers right here are purchased from Walmart. They're the Better Homes and Gardens brand. These containers here are from Dollar Tree. Don't forget to look at Dollar Tree. They've got some great options. And then these baskets here are also from Walmart. These are fairly new. I love these. These are so cute. And they also have them in smaller sizes as well. Step 5 is the letter M, and M stands for maintain. This can be a challenging one because let's face it, we're all busy and we are all very, very tired. We don't always like putting things away where they belong. Oftentimes we'll just shove it in there. But if you're finding that your system is always chaotic, chances are you might need to revamp your system. So take a look at what is not working. Go back to the first step and brainstorm a little bit and see how you might be able to change things up a bit. Tip number 2 is maybe you need to upgrade to some prettier containers. If all you do is maybe cover some things with some pretty contact paper from the dollar store, it might go a long ways to help keep you motivated. And tip number 3, if you have kids, put them to work. Kids as early as age 3 and 4 can be trained on how to put things away in a pantry. It might take a little bit of work up front, but the payoff can be huge. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really enjoyed this and I hope it's helpful to you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. And we'll see you next time.